let's get into it. That felt like a cheerleader. Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a spring inspired look. I've had lots of people ask me, how can I get a really nice, easy, effortless look on a daily basis, whether you're going to school or you need to get out the door to get to work on time or get the kids in the car to get them to school. This is going to be the look for you. It'll work for anybody, and I have tried to keep it super affordable. If you do like this video, please give me a big thumbs up, and if you have not subscribed, I hope you'll consider subscribing before you go. All right, so without further ado, let's jump into the tutorial. All right, so I'm actually going to do some skincare prior. I have already cleansed my skin and I used the Pure Simplicity cleanser. And now I'm going to use the Pixi Glow Tonic. And this has 5% glycolic acid in it. I feel like it really brightens and evens out my skin. And then I bring it down my neck. And generally I'll bring it down my chest. I do at night too, just because I feel like my chest has, as I've matured, it has gotten kind of red, and I can really see that chicken skin starting to happen, and I think that this toner has really helped. Now what I would do if I was wearing something that I wasn't going to spray stuff all over, I would go in with the Pixi Glow Mist. It definitely has argan oil in it, and I don't want to ruin my shirt, so let's just pretend that I'm giving myself a quick spritz. You know what I can do? I'll spray it on a cotton round so you can get the idea. Because it really does give a beautiful glow. I think as we move into spring, I mean, who am I kidding? I love glow all year round. But as we move into spring, I do think it's a very flattering look to go glowy. And I'm gonna go with this sample of the Belif Moisture Eye Balm. And I did just do a video about doing my entire face with samples. I want to make sure I use all of the products I have in my collection. I will be getting into that more. It makes me sad when I go through my collection. I have so many things collecting dust. This will look familiar to you if you watched my TJMAXX and Marshall's haul, or if you entered the giveaway that I recently had. This is the Algenist Sublime Optical Illuminating Moisturizer. This is definitely a pricier item. I found this at Marshall's though, so I only ended up paying $19.99 for it. I don't know that I would go back and pay full price. You can find it at Marshall's for $19.99. I think it's definitely worth that price tag. And what I like about this is it has a very beautiful luminosity to it. It almost has like a pink iridescent reflect without being completely overstated. It's somewhat subtle, because it is still your moisturizer. Next, we're gonna go ahead and I'm going to use this sample that I have from Murad, and this is their Invisiblur. It's a good SPF. It's an SPF of 30. It's broad spectrum. And then for claims, it says 94% saw improved smoothness and texture. It may be applied under makeup or worn alone. When I'm getting ready fast, I love this product because it almost doubles as a primer because it has that blurring. I would have to assume there's some sort of dimethicone in here. I feel it, but I don't have the ingredients. I'll have to look into that, but it definitely gives a blurring effect to the skin, which I love. Sunscreen, skincare, done in one. And the last step I'm going to do is the Pure X-Faux Lip Exfoliator. So it has these little sugar granules that help exfoliate and slough off the skin. It tastes really good. According to the website, you put it on and then rub your lips together and wipe it away. I personally like doing it this way. I put it on as a prep for my makeup, and I just let it sit on my lips while I do my makeup. My lips just sometimes get really dry, and this has really been helpful. So we're just gonna leave it on. When trying to get your makeup done quick, I think the biggest tip that I can offer you guys is trying to eliminate as many products as possible. I think doing your skincare, you shouldn't compromise that. You always want to do your skincare. So the products that I chose will definitely help act as a primer. So we're gonna skip the primer step today. Also, you guys know that I do not like using a liquid foundation, so I will not be using a liquid foundation either. right, now I'm gonna jump straight into concealer. I'm gonna go ahead and use the Catrice Liquid Camouflage Concealer, and this is in the shade Porcelain. And I've moved up a little bit closer to make sure that you guys can get nice and tight and see what I'm doing for the tutorial. Generally, when I do my concealer and I'm really taking my time to make sure it looks flawless, I will go in with the concealer brush first and just apply little bits at a time. That's how it looks the most flawless. But when we're trying to go quick, I don't have time for that. I'm just gonna go straight from the wand and just hit those areas that are the darkest. And now I'm going in with my Mikasa Lemon Drop Beauty Sponge. If you guys have watched my channel and seen my tutorials, you know that that is an absolute favorite of mine. And then I just always make sure to bring my concealer, I place it up on the dark circles, but I blend it down my cheek because we don't want to have the reverse raccoon eyes because that doesn't look good either. And then before it has time to crease, I go ahead and I go in with my RCMA No Color Setting Powder. And I just pour a little bit of that in the lid. I go straight in with my beauty sponge, just dip a little bit. So you have about that much product on your sponge. Starting from the outer part of my under eye, I bring it in. And making sure to get down the cheek wherever that concealer was placed and blended. So you can see that didn't take very long, but already you can see a huge difference in my overall appearance. This side is already looking much more awake. So we'll just go ahead and repeat that over on this eye. Now I have seen lots of tutorials where there's a lot of concealer applied under the eye. And listen, if you are in your teens or your 20s, you can probably get away with that. Less is more. Your under eyes are such a thin layer of skin. The heavier the product weight is that you place under your eye, the more creping you're gonna see and the less natural it's gonna look. And now I'm just setting that with my RCMA powder. As always, I will make sure that I put all of the products mentioned in the description box down below. All right, so you can see I've gone in and I've just dabbed some concealer wherever I've noticed a little bit of discoloration, redness, and I'm gonna go ahead and blend that in very quickly with my sponge. And then I'm just kind of hitting my nose with whatever is left on the tip of this sponge because I've noticed a lot of redness in my nose. So I feel like it needs just a little bit extra coverage. And then I'm taking whatever's left on the sponge and just kind of getting that center portion right here of my forehead and chin. Now you guys know I love this Pure 4-in-1 pressed powder and I use it with the chisel brush. Any stiff short-haired brush will work and there's really no rhyme or reason to applying this, which I think is really nice. Anybody can use it. Even Grayson and Parker. Don't know if you guys have seen those videos. And then you'll notice sometimes I do these little tapping motions, and the tapping motions, that gives me more coverage as opposed to when I'm blending it out. So wherever I feel like I need a little bit more coverage, that's when you see me tapping it in. And then of course I always bring a little down my neck. And then you guys know I really that freckle. And this is just a bullet brush, it's the Morphe E18. I'm just gonna hit these inner corners a little bit as well. Here's a before and after of just the skin. When I'm doing a super quick look, the skin looking flawless to me makes such a difference. Next, I'm gonna go ahead and do my brows. If you guys have been watching me, you know brows are just the one thing that I have to do. It is my biggest time suck. I wish I could do it faster. So I'm gonna go through and do it fairly quickly. I'm gonna go in and use the Benefit Goof Proof Pencil in shade 2. So first I'm gonna brush my brows up. And then I found the quickest way to get my brows done is start with the under part of my brow to get the base of the shape. And now I'm just, where you can see this kind of gap in hair right here, I'm gonna go ahead and fill that part in and connect it. And as I get to the front of the brow, I just did some brow-like hair strokes, and then I just brush it through. A lot of times I'll go in and I will clean up under the brows with concealer. And if you want to see how to get like a general idea for the shape of your brow, you can watch my brow tutorial. It's definitely a little bit older. It's one of the first videos I did, but I'll go ahead and I'll link it up there. You can check that out. Just click that eye and it will take you to that video if you want to see how I do that. But on a day like today where I'm going quick, I'm just going to throw in that goof proof pencil and then set it with my Benefit 24-hour brow setting gel. If you guys have a nice set of brows, just using a clear brow gel makes such a difference, and it's 2 seconds to do it. I have tried various other things, but I haven't found a brow gel that compares to this one. I think it holds your brows in place and it doesn't feel crunchy like some other ones I've tried. And then I think this goof proof pencil, and also I love Precisely My Brow. They're just the best brow product on the market. And what I'm doing now is just kind of taking the spoolie side of the goof proof pencil and just brushing the hairs through, just to make sure I am looking nice and natural and that the gel is evenly applied. So I will spend however much time I need to on my brows. That is like my downfall. And I am back on the Primer Potion bandwagon. I am gonna try picking up the Eden formula because I've heard that is amazing, but this one is just the original. So I just put about this much on my fingertip and then apply onto my lids with my finger. I was able to use that amount that you saw on my fingertip for both eyes. I'm gonna go in with a super fluffy brush. This is just the Morphe M441. Any fluffy brush will do. Just back into my pure powder and just do an even swipe all over the lid just to even out that lid. Now you could just stop here and put on some mascara and call it a day, but for the purpose of this tutorial, I'm just going to show you how you can just take it a step further. Now I'm going to jump into the Profusion Eye and Cheek Palette. This is available at Target and it is $9.99. Here's what it looks like on the inside. I did do a first impressions on this palette, which goes more in depth about it, but I'm just gonna show you what I'm gonna use here. I'm gonna start by just going into this shade right here called Honest and just swipe this all into my transition area. With this palette, I do wanna mention you will get a ton of kickback, but it's $9.99 and it does apply really nicely. Just be prepared for that. Go ahead and just go right into this transition and outer corner of your eye area and just kind of drag after you place it into the crease and transition area. Just bring whatever is left down your lid. So you just kind of get this nice wash of color. Super easy. Let's do the other eye. So you see I'm kind of doing back and forth motions, circles, just really simple. And then just to give like a little hint of glimmer, I'm going to take this color right here called Chatty with my Mikasa E310 brush and just put it right into the inner corners for an inner corner pop of highlight. And then with what's left on the brush, I'm gonna take and go right on the highest point of my arch under my brow. On a paper towel, just make sure you wipe away all of your shimmer, and I'm going to stick with that same brush that we were using, the Mikasa E310, dip back into Honest, the shade we have on our lid, and I'm just going to run it under my lower lash line. And I'm only going to do it to about where my pupil is. And I always place my brush on the outer corner and then bring it inward. Just because wherever you put your brush down first is where you're gonna get the most color payoff. This takes 2 seconds. I'm just gonna go into the shade right here called Antique. And just with a fingertip application, I'm just gonna press it right onto the center of my lid, bringing it inward. And these tapping motions give you the most color payoff as far as the shimmer goes. And so we're not going to use eyeliner during the day. I find that I rarely use a proper like eyeliner pen or pencil. I'm just going to take a flat brush. This is my Luxie Flat Definer brush. An angled brush like this will work. I find whatever works best for you is what you should go with for this. I'm gonna go into the shade right here now called Tease. So I tap it in to start and I go about 3/4 of the way in, making sure the thickest part of that line is on the outer portion of my lash line, like right here. And then once I have it placed, I'm just gonna kind of shimmy my brush back and forth to smoke it out. Now with whatever is left on my brush, I'm ever so slightly gonna go on the outer corners of my lower lash line. Sometimes I notice when I'm super tired, my waterline looks red. I like to go in with my NYX Wonder Pencil, and this is in the shade Light. I find during allergy season, like right now, it's very helpful. All right, so now let's do a quick coat of mascara, and I have been loving this Maybelline Total Temptation mascara. Now this is a tip that I sometimes forget to do when I'm filming, but if you can get it ingrained in your mind, do your lower lashes first, because a lot of times when I'm rushing to get out the door, I'll do my upper lash line and then it'll still be wet and I look up to do my lower lash line and I've gotten little dots all over the place. This was a great recommendation by Samantha March. Thank you, girl. This is in the shade Blackest Black, but I do like kind of rolling down, like I turn my wand down and lift up. I personally have a lot of natural curl in my lashes, so I don't use an eyelash curler. So now it's up to you if you want to take the time to contour and bronze, and I will be using the, go figure, this is the Profusion contour makeup case, and this I also got at Target for $6.99. Please forgive the appearance of this palette. It is very well loved. And again, these powders, all of the Profusion products that I've tried are very powdery. So again, be aware of that. I like to put on my brush a combination of the lightest shade and the deepest shade. And then I go in with this shade right here to bronze. So I just dipped into the light and medium shade, and this is on my Morphe M523 brush under my cheekbone, dotting the product right here first. And then once it's placed, I just kind of shimmy it back and forth, blend up the cheekbone, kind of go in circular motions at this point, and then kind of hit the perimeter of my face and right here, the jawline. One thing to note when you are contouring, the further down you bring this line, you kind of imagine there's a line right there, the further down you bring it, the more intense it's going to look. We are not going for a super dramatic feel today. We're gonna stop where it meets my eye. And then I'm gonna quickly just throw on a little bit of bronze, and I'm gonna use the Mikasa F111 brush to do so. So going into that medium contour shade, just picking up a little bit, tapping off the excess. I like to start where the contour is, bring it up, back and down. And then just with whatever's left on the brush, just hit that neck. Now I'm gonna go back into my eye and cheek palette. I'm gonna take my blush brush and just kind of hit both of these shades with it and just start at the apples of my cheek. And if it's your first time using a blush, I always say less is more. It is easier to add than it is to take away. But if you do feel like you have gone in with too much blush, a very quick fix would be to just go into your face powder and just kind of go right over the top of it, and it'll soften it up super quickly for you. Sticking with this palette, I'm gonna go ahead and highlight. I will always highlight. That is just something I can't live without. I'm gonna go into a combination of Diamonds highlighter and this Chatty shade again. It is an eyeshadow, but I love using it as highlighter. I'm just gonna hit the highest point of my cheek here and wrap it around my eye. I pinch my brush that I've been using for highlight and I just go down the bridge of my nose. Now at this point, my lips, they are just really soft and supple feeling. So I'm going to quickly just apply this NYX Soft Matte Lip Cream in the shade Stockholm. I'm not going to use a liner. I'm just going to go right on. This formula is much more forgiving than like your traditional like matte liquid lips. It's a little bit more sheer, but it is buildable. Then right over top, I'm going to put this NYX Butter Gloss in the shade Angel Food Cake. And I kind of just, I don't want a whole lot. I just want a little bit. And sometimes I'll just go ahead and use only a gloss, but I've found when I apply the lip cream first, I get a little bit more color and it stays on a little better throughout the day. And now I'm just gonna go ahead and spray with my setting spray, and this is the Urban Decay All Nighter. And then while my lashes are still wet, I'll go through and brush them with a spoolie. Having your lashes be wet when you brush them through like that, it just really helps. All right guys, well that wraps up this spring into your new look tutorial. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, I hope you will give me a big thumbs up. And if you have not subscribed, I hope you will consider subscribing before you go. And as a reminder, I will be sure to link all of the products that I used down below in the description bar. So thank you guys so much for watching, and hopefully I'll catch you in the next video. Bye!